and gentlemen, welcome to the Kirbside podcast. I'm your host, Jay Kirby, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Britt. And tonight we are joined by the owner, founder, and distant descendant of a horror icon, Shanna Stoker. Thank you very much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, the owner and founder of the Ghoulish Garb, and just gonna sit, chat, learn a little bit about you.
Sounds good.
So, start off with what is your business all about? Like, where did you get your inspiration? Where did your desire to start the Ghoulish Garb come from?
Well, I've always been interested in spooky, creepy things, the macabre in general. Halloween was my favorite, right? Always, ever since I was a kid. I remember the excitement every year because, like, when you're in elementary school, at least in my school, you had to start the day by getting your paper out and putting your name and your date at the top of the paper. And I remember just the excitement because on October 1st, you go in and there's little paper ghosts everywhere, and little cute little bats with their happy little faces. And, and it's just like, and I got to put October 1st on there. So I'm always really excited about that. I've just always been a fan of that, the darker side of things, and also witches. Ever since I was a kid, I actually have tried to be like what my pop culture understanding at the time was of a witch, to the detriment of the people around me, by the way, because there was one time I was with my cousin, and he and I were like brother and sister. We were very, very close, 6 months apart, always together. And he wouldn't let me play Zelda with him. So I was like, fine, I can make my own games. And I tried very hard for a hot second to fly their family broomstick. So I got on top of his dresser. And I was like, hey, look at me. And as about the time that he turned around, I went to fly and I gave him a black eye with the
no.
But guess what? But guess who got to play Zelda next time? So
exactly. So you should talk.
I'm the winner all around. But yeah, no, I've always been, I was a witch or a vampire every year for Christmas. Yes, for Christmas. That's how I showed up. But no, every year for Halloween, I was a witch or a vampire, unless I was a Disney princess. That was it. So that is my personality summed up. I call myself kind of Persephone goth.
Very nice. I like that.
It's a mix. I was born in the spring. I love, I live in Orlando. I love Disney, and I love that kind of, I love flowers and animals and stuff like that. And that imagery I really enjoy, but I am very much in tune with the darker side of things as well. And I find the beauty there, which is what goth is all about for me. So the funny thing about it though, is when we started it actually was intended, well, we didn't know what we wanted to do first. We just knew we were done with the 9 to 5. And I'd only been out of college for a year and a half at this point. My business partner had been out for about 4 years, I think, maybe. And we were just done with it. And we knew we were like, we live in the age of technology and e-commerce, and we're smart and capable and creative, and we can do this. Like, let's figure out something to do. So we did our research. My partner, I will say, did most of that initial research, because I was more focused on, like, I had a lot of stuff going on. So but they were doing the research. And he was he found print on demand. And so that's kind of what we decided to do first, because it's a great way to enter into an e-commerce business without having a major overhead, right? You don't have to keep inventory, which is a huge undertaking. Really, it was about, like, can we create designs and do the customer service and run the online stores, and do that side of things. And so once we knew print on demand, okay, well, now what are we going to do? We need to create designs, and we wanted to make sure that we were doing designs that were absolutely our own, not taking from we tried a little pop culture stuff at first, and we were like, this is not going to work well with, like, copyright, and yeah, this stuff sells on Etsy, but we want to go farther than Etsy. We really want to go much farther. And we want to create our brand that is unique, and that not everybody else can just make this design and call it their own, or not everybody else is doing it. And so whenever we were trying to decide the niche, and we talked about a few different ones that I finally reluctantly, because he's not into the same things I'm into, I was like, what about this? What about witchcraft and the occult and maybe some cryptids and just all things spooky and weird and different, macabre being the focus there. And he went for it, and we said, okay, well, let's first, before we decide we're going to do this, it's the best idea we've had so far, let's get 100 design ideas on paper. And if we can do that, 100 design ideas, doesn't have to be well thought out, but like ideas,
it's skeleton, get it like a skeleton down.
Yes. And then we know we're getting it in our head, and we're seeing how quickly the inspiration comes. It's just a good way to figure out, can we do this? Can we really like make this work and have months of work ahead of us without, when we dive in, we got all that, and we got the inspiration already written up. So we did that within like a week, I think. And that was when we were like, okay, let's do this. Cause I was just a machine. I will tell you right now, most of those 100 designs, and my partner will attest, he's very creative too in those ways. It's not his niche that he's a part of in everyday life, but he's very much, really tried to, like, he's learned and comes up with some great designs. Like, he's created some of our best selling designs on his own. So, we work very much together in that sense. But initially I was like, oh my gosh, pun, tarot, all these different things. And so it was really, really great. But that's how it started. And we had no idea that we would be here in 3 years with 2 tarot decks out, working on a third. They're major arcanas right now, but we're going to finish because we weren't sure if people wanted them. So we were like, let's test it with the major arcana first. But we're expanding those. We've gone full time. We were able to make it full time last year with insurance, which is how I knew I made it.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So it's incredibly crazy to see where it's come from, but that's where it all kind of started. That was a long story.
Wow. No, that's fantastic. It's definitely something to aspire to, coming from a guy who runs this podcast out of a spare bedroom, that, would love to do this as frequent as, some of the bigger YouTube channels or some of the bigger podcasts. I'd love to do this as much as, Dead Meat podcasts, or do this as much as, cause I'm also a wrestling fan, as much as like Talk is Jericho or Art of Wrestling. Like, I would love to be able to do this full time, but unfortunately, some of us have to do the Clark Kent 9 to 5.
Yeah, and we did it for 2 years. I totally get that. I mean, we did it for 2 years. 2 years of, well, I did. My partner was able to work full time, which is why we were able to grow so quickly, because I couldn't. I had to. He wasn't paying himself, but he had. Right. He was able to do that and really pour his heart and soul and time into this business. And it's that work that he did whenever I had to work full time on other jobs to pay my bills and stuff.
Right.
That I was still working part time on the business, but like his front end work was absolutely one of the main reasons why we're here today, where we are, and why I was able to go full time. Us working together and him taking that for us. And it's just, I want to make sure that that's highlighted, because I wouldn't be here talking to you if it weren't for me and my partner. So yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That's wonderful. I mean, that, you were kind of able to grow, like kind of plant this little seed for this business and just throw everything in, and like you said, now that, it's grown to this, like you said, now that you can fully invest yourself full time, like that's a wonderful feeling.
It is. It's so freeing. And it's really something I'm incredibly passionate about. So it means a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, and in 3 years, that's impressive, because there's a lot of small businesses and even some big businesses, that it does not take 3 years. It takes 5 to 10.
And even then they decide they fold up, because like maybe they have something that, like you said, you kind of like, they didn't have something that was broad enough to reach out and appeal to to like even a particular group. And I was looking on your website a little bit here on your shop before we had all signed on together, and I couldn't help but laugh. But like everything, and I know Jay may have mentioned I am a spooky person myself. Like I love the macabre. I love Halloween, but like this is stuff that I could wear like every single day. You know, even people that maybe not are as big into that niche, like you're even reaching out to them and kind of helping to like, ooh, this looks interesting, you know, let me see what's going on. So that, even just being able to do that.
Thank you. And that's what we try to do. Like I want to come up with designs that not only are for our community, but that people that might not be in the community necessarily can, at least around Halloween, or if they're looking, or if they're kind of interested in a goddess or something like that, they can come to our shop and find something. There's something for everybody, I really think, in the shop. If there's just at least one design that you're going to say, I like that. I hope, at least. So far, everyone I've spoken to has I mean, been surprised by that fact. You know, and like friends and family, like I come from I'm from South Alabama, so I come from a very, you know, Christian conservative family. And so like, even then, my grandmother, every time I visit home, okay, you understand, you get it.
Oh yeah, but you are preaching to the literal choir right now.
Well, but my grandmother, both of my grandmothers, but my mama, every time I go home, she's like, so you got any new designs? And she wants to see them. And that's like, awesome. We'll talk about my tarot, and it's like all of my tarot designs. And I'll be like, so this represents this. And then this, so if you were to get this in a reading, this is what it would tell you. And like, she's like, oh, okay. Oh, that's so pretty. And she has her favorites. And like, oh my gosh, such support, such love. And like, that's the thing is, I think there's a little something for everyone in our store. And I hope to do that while also keeping true to our niche, keeping true to our community who does eat, sleep, and breathe this like I do. You know, and so there's no pandering. I hate that word. There's no like just filling, you know, oh, you like this, we'll make this. There's not like that. It's still very niche, but yeah. you've just done a really good job, I feel like, with like having your core and branching out. So like, even just like I said, even with what I've just seen on your shop site. So thank you. Awesome. Of course. I appreciate that. Of course.
I'm looking right now, to be completely honest, just to see if anything catches my eye, because I'm not the spooky one. Are you on the Etsy? I'm on the website itself.
Actually, I would go to Etsy, because I will say we have not had any time to work on that website, and we've both just been kind of like, okay, that's off to the side. If anybody wants to volunteer, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I definitely need to work on the website. It's just, there's so many things that have been taking precedent. Go to Etsy.com, and then if you search for the Ghoulish Garb, all one word, that will show our shop. And that's kind of where everything's updated. It's kind of more easy to see, okay, are you looking for tarot tapestries, or maybe spooky sweatshirts for the season? Or, you know, holiday haunts, which are kind of spooky holiday themed items. So we've got, you know, lots of different things there. I've tried to organize it as best I could.
No, I'm seeing a lot of interesting designs, because like I said, I'm not the spooky one, she is. Like the spookiest I get is listening to I guess right now I've been very spooky. I've been doing a horror movie marathon based off of a metal band that I listen to called Ice Nine Kills. If you have or have not heard of them. I haven't. They have an entire album.
But I love metal.
Actually, 2 albums now, because they just dropped the new one on Friday. All of the songs are based off of, they are on Spotify. All of their songs are based off of either horror or gothic movies for these 2 particular albums. And what
is it called? Or who are they? What are they
Ice Nine Kills.
Okay, I am looking them up now. Oh my gosh, I love their aesthetic. That's cool.
Right? What?
I'm gonna just show the screen, because that's really
that's awesome. That's them.
Mhm.
That
Like
is from
they're
their
like
new.
all in suits and then with an axe.
That's from the new album because they have one based off. They have a song based off American Psycho in that particular album.
Very
So
cool. Very cool.
that's where the suits, that's where the acts, like they go all out with well, as a wrestler, as their gimmick. And
Yes.
I as someone who has not been a horror movie fan all of my life, as of only a few years ago have I started watching horror movies.
Me too, actually. Me too. Even though I
Listening
love
to
spooky stuff.
right, listening to them has helped me branch into a genre I've not ventured into.
I am really excited because I love metal. I'm actually recently, newly the lead singer and lyricist of a metal band.
What?
And pretty excited about it.
That's
It's spooky too.
amazing.
So yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm absolutely going to be listening. I'm following them now and I've got a screenshot to remind me. Okay.
Well, now we've got to ask what's this metal band you're a part of? Because now I want to hear this.
Well, we're working on our first album right now. Literally this happened 13 days ago.
Wow.
On October 5th. And they called me. I mean, they found my information through it. I was okay. There's a little bit of a story here if you want.
Please go for it. The floor is yours.
Please.
Okay. So I don't know what was going on. I assumed it was something because of the TikTok algorithm blowing up for me. But it wasn't. There's a website called Bandmix, which is just a place for musicians to find musicians, basically. And I've had a profile on Bandmix for a few years now. Another band found me like that a few years ago, and I did a couple months with them just before I moved to Orlando. It was just kind of a jam band kind of thing. It was a 90s cover band.
Oh, nice.
And but I haven't really touched that profile. Maybe he changed the picture or something, but like I don't really do anything to it. So I know I double checked. I did not update anything about TikTok. The only thing on there from TikTok or that was a crossover is that I have some demos on there, including my Sally's song performance, which you can see on my TikTok and on my YouTube channel. And that's been the one that's been getting me the most just really positive feedback, and it's great because that's my favorite one too. But so all of a sudden, like 2 weeks ago, I get 4 different calls or 4 different messages from 4 different metal bands, all metal. And the thing about this is just a month before I was talking to my romantic partner and I was saying to him, I was like, or 2 months before that, I told my roommate, I have songs inside me that need to come out. Those exact words. I was like, I have songs inside me that need to come out. I don't know what to do about it, but I'm going to start writing poetry again. And I did. And then the next month I'd been listening to mostly metal this past couple of months. I go through phases and stuff, but mostly metal.
Any bands that really stuck out?
Honestly, I have been in a System of a Down fix.
Oh, very nice.
Crazy.
Very nice.
Not since high school have I been this into them. And like it was, I mean, I know. I just love System of a Down. I love their chaos and their just insane energy. And also Black Sabbath is one of my favorite bands since I was in 6th grade. Absolutely huge Black Sabbath fan. Blackbriar, the symphonic metal band, they're from where are they from? I think they're from Switzerland oh gosh, I'm ruining this. They're from the Netherlands, I believe. They're amazing, Blackbriar. I absolutely love them. So I've been trying. Oh my gosh, there's another one called Saban, I think, there's a bunch of different really great bands I've been listening to. But I was listening to one of these bands and showing another one to my partner, right? And I was telling him about it. I was like, I always wished I could be in a metal band. I've wished that since I was in like 6th grade. I've wanted to be in a metal band. I've wished I had this crazy, like, I wish I could scream, or I wish I could do something where a metal band would want me because I want to be in a metal band so bad. And I just was like talking about this, like, okay, so this is all happening. And then randomly 4 messages from 4 different metal bands within the span of a week.
Wow.
Don't know what the heck was going on. I'm just gonna say that was my manifestation at work. I am a practicing witch, so there we go.
There you go.
But so that happened. And I was also using a new affirmation that I got from TikTok. And it was great. I mean, it's been working, I guess. So I kind of spoke with these 4 people, but then it was when these guys messaged me that I was like, there was this intuition click. That was like, this is okay. Not at first. At first I was like, because I won't go into that, but there was something that happened that I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But then as soon as the lead guitarist and founder of the band contacted me, I don't know, I had this talking with him gave me this click of intuition, or this intuition click. And that night he actually went ahead and got the entire band on a phone call, and it was supposed to be just kind of a quick get to know you. It lasted 2 hours, our phone call. Me and these 3, and it was just awesome. It felt like home. It just felt right. And they said the same thing. And like that night after, it was so crazy because at the end of the call we were like, you know, so this is crazy. Didn't expect this to happen. And they're like, yeah, we didn't expect this either. And it was just, that was it. I messaged the other bands and said, thank you so much for contacting me, but I've decided to move forward and with this other band. And since then we've already started working on our album. We've got the concept down because it's going to be kind of a storytelling album that's spooky. So we know exactly what it's going to be about. I'm writing the lyrics right now on the second song, while our lead guitarist and sound engineer, Jake, focuses on fixing up the first song for us to get the lyrics down for that. We just got our new, I literally just got off a call with the band before this to discuss who this new keyboardist is. So we just got him, and we just talked to him, and he's on board now. So, but yeah, it's a symphonic metal band. We're going to be extremely theatrical because that's who I am and that's who they are, luckily.
I love it.
I know I didn't even have to be the one to mention theatrics. They did. And I was like, y'all, I'm an actress. Oh, but that's the thing. So you mentioned my distant relative.
Yes.
I'm just gonna, this is part of the story. So can I drop that bomb, or did you want that later?
Go for it. We were gonna ask, where it all started from, but please go for it.
Well, I will circle back to that for sure.
Okay.
Because I don't want to go off on a tangent, because again, ADHD, I will be lost forever.
Oh, we've had literal interviews go for like 2 hours just because I've been going off in that direction.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, so yes, I am related to Bram Stoker, if you couldn't tell by my last name. And that is one of the reasons. So listen to the band's name. It's called Drakora.
Okay,
Yep.
But somewhere the stars aligned and just that's perfect.
So my thing is, again, I was like, they only want me because of TikTok. They want name recognition. They want I don't have a ton of followers, but I got a lot of followers, more than I had. I'm up to like 60,000, I think. So, I mean, it's, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that, but I was like, they don't want me. They might like my voice, but I feel like that's probably padded it, And so whenever I got on the call with them, I didn't mention it. I didn't ask. I just was trying to feel it out. I wanted to see if they would bring it up first. They never did in the 2-hour conversation. And so at the very end, when they had decided that they wanted me in the band and I wanted to be in the band because I genuinely vibed with them so well, I was like, so question, I know you found me on Bandmix. Did you look me up anywhere else? And they were like, no, we just saw you on Bandmix and contacted you. And Jake was like, actually, I saw you on Bandmix before, but most of your stuff is Disney stuff. So I didn't, and you look so not like a metalhead.
You look warm and bubbly. You don't look like a metalhead.
Right? I do. I look warm and bubbly. Or at least I hope I do. I'm a Hufflepuff though.
Yes.
Are we all Hufflepuffs?
Yes, we are all Hufflepuffs.
Okay. Well, yes. Yeah, I don't look like a metalhead. And all of my stuff on my band mix is basically me dressed up as or just singing Disney princess songs. Besides Sally's song, which again is my favorite. And I have some jazz stuff on there too from when I was a singer of a jazz orchestra. And that was awesome. Loved that. That was in college. But yeah, like the first stuff you see is like me dressed as Aurora and me as Belle and me singing as Jasmine and like all these different things.
Not giving off those metal vibes.
No, not quite. And so, but Compy, our bassist, actually came across it and like listened to all the music, and evidently he messaged Jake and was like, holy crap, Jake, you need to listen to this Sally song, which that makes my heart very happy because I really love that one.
Oh yeah.
And so he did, and that's when they decided like, okay, they really wanted me to be in the band. So I asked this, like, I'm like, okay, did you look me up anywhere else? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay. So, because I mean, these are also older guys. Like
Right.
Jake, our lead, he toured with Motley Crue a few times. You know, like he's, you know, like they're older dudes. So they're not exactly in the TikTok realm of things, which was also a good indicator to me that they didn't find me on TikTok. And so I was like, okay, well, that's cool because and then I was like, okay, so tell me, how did you get the name for Drakora? And he was like, well, I was just kind of thinking, I want something spooky. I want something that sounds spooky. And I was talking to my wife and I was like, maybe Dracula. No, I mean, not Dracula, something like Dracula, Drakora. And I was like, are you kidding me? Is that really what it was? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm related to Bram Stoker who wrote Dracula. And he was like, and the whole Zoom meeting was just like, what? I mean, it was just like insane. And again, I was like, this is kismet. I can't say anything else besides that. It was just too crazy. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, she named her band Drakora. No, they found me and didn't know. And it's a great story because it's so unbelievable. But yeah, that's my quick story. So we're working on that. Like I said, the concept is so spooky and creepy and weird, and I'm excited to delve into it. And yeah, I'll be working on recording some more scratch tracks for that after we get done with this podcast.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
I definitely know I know what we're going to be looking out for next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's actually, you can go to drakora.com and we'll be kind of like putting all of our info on there as we release stuff. But yeah, we do have that, and we have an Instagram and a Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But
so you're all over the socials.
Trying to. I mean, Jake's doing a good job.
Yeah,
I've been a part of this band for 13 days, and I feel like I've known these guys for years. It's absolutely the coolest thing in the world.
That's wonderful. I've been in wrestling locker rooms like that before, where I've met everyone and just everything just clicked so well.
Yeah, like you feel like you've known them before or something. It's very strange.
So, and I definitely need all of these links before we hop
for
off
sure.
here.
Yeah,
like, I need all of these links. I'm going to share them everywhere.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, I have a link tree. That's why I have a link tree, so that like all of my stuff, because I'm also a part of a virtual musical, so like all of that is written on my link tree if you are interested. Yeah, I'll give you that info.
100% interested. But I mean, since we're on the topic, I will say we did find you over the TikTok, over the algorithm. And when we heard the story behind, you're trying to build your business off your own, not
your own merits, so to speak.
Your own merits. I almost said your own name, but your own merits, your own efforts. I can sympathize with that 100%. And then found out about the distant relation. I was like, there's a story here that I have to hear. I have to ask this person, like, where this all started, where it all began. And then you literally said in your video, do you want to hear more? Do you want to talk to me about it? And then, link in the bio. And I was like, sending that email right now. I need to talk to this person right now about this story. And so now I have to ask, how are you related to, the great Mr. Stoker? Where did this, hidden family lineage come from?
Well, it's not so hidden because we do have the last name Stoker, so my family's very aware, and they have been talking about it for generations. It's something that they kind of brought over. So the story that I've always been told is that we had the clan in Ireland, obviously, that Brom was part of, and then some of that clan came kind of broke off and went to Virginia. And we know that Bram, while he was writing Dracula, he actually went to Virginia and wrote part of Dracula there. He wrote correspondences home as well. And then from the Virginia family, some came down to Washington County, Alabama, which is where my grandfather is from. And yes, and it's tiny, it's teensy tiny. And so, yeah, basically we used to have a family Bible that had one of the names from, oh gosh, I can't remember. They showed it to me before I really understood or was gonna memorize who it was. I mean, I totally understood at the time, but I didn't I'm not gonna sit here and memorize every name, right?
Of course.
Right.
But we do have a cousin, Susan, who's done a lot of genealogical research and has traced our family all the way back to, I cannot remember the name of the town, and I keep bringing this up and keep forgetting to look up the name, but it was a little place in Ireland close to where Bram grew up, and her name was Anne Stoker, and I believe she was born in 1597, I think.
Okay.
So, we've done that, and through that research also we believe, which we still, it's so long, but we believe that we are a descendant of his uncle on his father's side, obviously, because Bram himself actually didn't have any direct descendants with the name Stoker. So if you look up on Bram Stoker's lineage website or whatever, his actual straight descendants are a different name. I believe it starts with a B. My cousin spoke with them when she went to Ireland, but I cannot remember the last name. And but yeah, because he had a daughter who, of course, whenever she got married, she lost the Stoker name, and there are no direct descendants with that name anymore, or at least from what I understand, unless somebody's legally changed their name to Stoker.
Right.
But yeah, so we would be related. So he'd actually be a cousin. That would be our relation. And I found out when I was in second grade, or I remember hearing his name. It's something that we talk about, we would talk about, my Aunt Nell or my, my cousin Nick, it's just we talk little things like that, or the significance of that. But I was in the second grade when I found out, because I had just read that I was writing my own little horror story essentially. And I was visiting my grandparents and telling them about this horror story I was writing as a second grader. And their response, but the response I got was, "Oh, that's awesome. You're going to keep the family line, going." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, Bram Stoker." And I think for me, I understood Bram Stoker had written a Dracula, because I mean, at the time I'm there are a million different vampire Draculas,
right,
a million different stories out there. So maybe I just kind of thought he wrote one, or was kind of a famous writer who did that or something. No, this is when they explained that he wrote Dracula. He gave us the modern vampire. He, all of this spooky culture, which now I understand is mostly goth culture and stuff. A lot of it was started with him and Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe and stuff, but he was a huge part of it. And that's when it really settled in. And that's when I really was like, "Hey guys, Dracula?" Yeah, that's my cousin. But that was for that was for 2 weeks after I found out. And then I was like, okay, I don't really talk about it anymore. But again, I was in elementary school. Of course I'm gonna one up you and tell you I'm related to Bram Stoker.
Of course.
Did I say 2 weeks? No. But yeah, it was definitely something I talked about at the time. And then as I got older, it just lost its, I guess it just, again, we talk about him like he's just family. So it doesn't feel the same. And I feel very much this connection to him, because when I found out about him and about this lineage, and when they likened what I was doing to what he did and his legacy, it kind of made me feel as this little second grader who's being told by adults in her life that she's into some weird stuff, and who are like, "Are you okay, sweetie?" That kind of thing. It gave me this sense of belonging, and felt like I understood, I'm who I'm supposed to be. It's okay to be weird, and it's okay to be different and dark, because look at what Bram did with his darkness. Look at what he did with his creativity. And as a second grader, to have that sense of self-identity already instilled because of that familial connection, it was really important to me. And it really gave me, even though at home I wasn't able to, as I grew up, to express myself and my goth interests, out, I had to kind of like my family was very much like, if you walk into this house wearing black nail polish, then you're grounded kind of people, you know? And I mean, I love them. They're fabulous, but it was not, it wasn't exactly a place of free expression. And so I very much was this like, you know, warm, bubbly kind of where I wore skirts and pink floral stuff all the time. And like all of my friends were metalheads. And so like, you know, I mean, and my family loved them. That's why I was like, why can't I wear the black nail polish? But you love these people. And they're like, well, because that's them. And if it's okay with their parents, it's just not okay with us. And I'm like, but I listen to metal all the time. Like I listen to the music, I do this stuff. And they're like, you just don't want to look. I just want you to look at it. You got to go to church on Sunday. Like you can't be looking like that at church. And you know, and the thing is, well, I mean, I went to church for my own volition, but they're like, you can't be looking like that. And so, yeah, I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about my business, because I feel like I'm finally able to express myself fully and to help others express themselves if they like our art and if they want to wear it or put it on their phone case or put it on their wall. And so it's a little bit of that repression I had at a younger age coming out in full force and just being like, here I am, world, listen up and look.
I can understand that 100%. I'm not here to dog on my parents because I do love them dearly. But growing up, I was a wrestling fan. I loved wrestling. I loved watching it, thinking about it, doing all these, crazy moves. And they're like, all right, you need to calm down, focus on, school and getting a job. And then I'd say about a year and a half after I graduated, I told them I was going to start training to be a wrestler. And Dad was like, okay, you're an adult, good luck, whatever. Mom was not as accepting. Okay. She was very, very like, this is a bad idea, don't do it. Well, here we are almost 10 years later, and I have one of these.
That's amazing.
And now they're on board with it. They share my pictures. They share my matches with everyone. It's become, and wrestling has literally become almost like your shop and your boutique. It's become this just unstoppable, just like, I'm giving all of this repression.
Yes.
And I'm just going to go all out and do all of this.
I know, because that they were hoping you'd grow out of it. They were like, this is just a phase. That's why you 100%. Do this.
Yeah, when I told them at 20 years old, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. Okay, he'll do it for like 2 weeks. He'll get hurt, and then he'll be like, I never want to do this again. And here I am sticking it out. And what was funny was my mom, when she saw one of my first matches, she's like, wow, you're actually really good at that. And I was like,
thanks, Mom. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. But I get, fighting your own repression and finding and it took me a long time up until, let's say like now-ish, to figure out my, who I am. And
Me
so
too. I'm just now this year feeling like I finally really have a handle on who Shanna Stoker is, like who am I, and that's a good place to be. I'm glad you're there too. That's good.
Thank you. But yeah, apparently Shanna Stoker is a metalhead creative mind who also plays Pathfinder
in D&D. Yes, I do.
Hardcore segue from the folks at Dice Hard with a Vengeance. Okay, so with that, terrible segue that I, force fed. I gotta ask for our D&D fans, for the people who listen to our D&D podcast, what's your go-to class and how long you've been playing? Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? Hello.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I've only been playing, so I've been around people who play for years. I mean, my whole life. Right. But I don't know. I didn't understand it. I didn't fully. And, being a girl, unfortunately, even though almost all my friends were always, metalhead dudes, not for any particular reason. Just I had I was always a part of those friend groups. You're not exactly invited to the party a lot, or at least 10 years ago you weren't. And even though I was interested in learning, it was more of like, this isn't something I'm invited to, which is fine. I mean, not fine, but it was just kind of something I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. But as I got older and into college and found some, different group of people, it was very much encouraged. And so I'd played a few games here and there with a friend of mine and his group. But again, I didn't really have a good handle on it because I feel like unless you're really working with a party for multiple games, it takes a long time to get your feeling as a character in your character and where you're going in the world and how you interact with your teammates, or not teammates, but the people in your party.
Yeah.
And so it was really this past year, a little over a year ago, I guess. We're not doing it anymore, which makes me so sad. But my cousin that I spoke about earlier, whom I gave a black eye, right? He and me and two of our really good friends from elementary school PACE program from that, we sort of like all got together on a Facebook post somehow that we're like, oh, we should. It was a chain that led to us being like, oh man, we should totally do a party, and we should do a game of Pathfinder or D&D, because we had two DMs in the group. And so my friend Ian was like, well, I DM Pathfinder and I just finished a campaign, so do you guys want me to DM some Pathfinder? And we were like, hell yeah. So so that's when I really felt like, or that's when I really started playing. We played every week for about a year, and then life just got hectic. So we had to stop our gaming. I think we're going to try to do D&D in the future, because Pathfinder's great, but there's a reason people choose D&D for there's a reason. There's a difference. There's definitely a difference. And I'm looking forward to, because I've spent way more time in the Pathfinder world than the D&D world, and I'm looking forward to really delving into D&D. That being said, though, this also segues, but I'm staying on topic. I mentioned earlier I'm a part of a virtual musical, and the musical I'm a part of, it's called Off the Beaten Path, and it is a D&D style musical.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the musical, like the umbrella musical, because there's a bunch of like backstory stuff too, but it's not musical. I actually did my first performance last night, but the overall musical is called Off the Beaten Path, and it's set in this area called Arlyris. The world is called Arlyris, but there's 60 different variations of the script, because as you move along, the audience gets to vote and decide what you do next.
Yes.
Okay, I love that idea. Like,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Right now we're doing them all virtually through Zoom. So what you do is it's free to watch, and like whenever if you like, again, on my link tree there'll be a link to their website, and it always but there's a Discord where all the fans and the cast and crew kind of talk together. It's such a community and like such a beautiful like place for us weirdos like us who all love this kind of stuff, high fantasy and just all of it, can come together and just be nerds and musical nerds on top of that, and it's such a cool mixture of people and cross section. And how in the world is it so perfect for me and my likes? I don't know, but again, this happened right at like it was all, he came to me, he found me, and I just, and that he wrote a character for me. He wrote a character based off of me. Her name is Morgane, and my middle name is Morgan, so he based it off of that. Plus, it's witchy, Morgan Le Fay, and she's a witch, and she's amazing, and I love her, and I got to perform as her last night.
So cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's all in that same vein. So even though I'm not running campaigns right now or in a campaign right now, it's I still get my D&D world, and I still get
that's wonderful,
this beautiful lore and high fantasy world, and I get to be a part of it in such a beautiful way. So yeah, I love D&D, absolutely.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. No, we have been playing we just
over
hit our
year now.
Yeah, we just hit our year a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
It honestly, it started as, for lack of a better term, filler content for the show. It started as, okay, I'm playing, I'm trying to do interviews. I'm trying to get, out there and introduce myself, but we need something for people to watch on the weekly. And my friend, for those of you who do watch the Dice Heart with a Vengeance, Taruk, he messaged me. His real name's Tim. He plays our barbarian. He messaged me and he goes, hey, me and my buddy George, who's in the party, we're playing D&D. and want to know if you want to play, because they already knew I was a D&D player from years ago. Now I hadn't played since then, but I was like, yes, I would love to jump into this D&D game. And so it's the three of us knuckleheads, and we go, so who's going to DM? And we all just collectively like smack our heads because we didn't have a DM. We wanted to play D&D. And I was like, I know someone who can help, and I feel bad asking them, but I'll do it.
It's a lot of work.
So I went to my brother Tim, because for the past 2 years, he's been sending me, hey, I've got an idea for this campaign, and I want to do this with this character. And I was like, hey, buddy, I know it's a lot of work and I know it's a lot of effort, but would you want to DM this campaign for us? And with the roll of the eyes going, the forever DM, he said, yeah, I'll do it. And then she joined in. She just randomly asked me one day because she was already on part of the podcast. She was like, hey, I would love to play. And I had asked, because we are dating, I'd asked my partner in the past if she wanted to play. And she gave me the eye roll, like, oh God, this nerd. And so I didn't want to bring it up. I was like, if she, I don't want to force this on her.
Last partner, not this partner. Yeah. Yes, I've been there too. Yeah.
I was like, I won't talk about it because I don't know how she's gonna react. And I don't want the whole discussion again. And then like 2 weeks before we get started, she's like, hey, can I play? Yes. Oh. Yes, you can.
That's lovely.
And so here we are a year later. I mean, we are in the heart of this story right now. And we've had episodes that, and this is a credit to my brother's writing and a credit to just us as a group. We've had literal episodes where we've had our heartstrings tugged. And like we went to work the next day depressed because like a particular character was kidnapped by the villain. And it was an NPC. It was a character that my brother had just made up.
That's all the worst literally part, because the ones that you love so much are the NPCs.
We're literally at work depressed because her fictional sister got kidnapped.
My fictional sister who was kidnapped.
This is bullshit.
Honestly, though, but
I need a day.
Okay, first of all, it reminds me of like when you're reading a book. You become in love with these characters, and secondly, seriously though, that is what this musical does. It is, you get so attached to these characters, and let me tell you, he is not afraid to kill people off.
Yeah, neither is ours. We are scared every week.
Our DM, or I said GM actually because it was Pathfinder, but our GM was like, he was just like, I'm coming for you. He was just he tortured us, but I was also, oh man, we had such a good time. There's so many stories. That sounds amazing, though.
Oh yeah.
Every Tuesday we always say we're in danger.
Yep. That has become the running gag. Is whoa, we're in danger.
But it really has.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it really has just everything in this last year. Like it has just become so much fun to and it kind of becomes like your own cereal in a sense. Like it becomes like your own like the easiest, if I could describe like our campaign, I would say it's like a mesh of like Game of Thrones, a little bit of Walking Dead, a little bit of Grimm.
As of recently, a lot of Walking Dead.
Oh my gosh.
The past three episodes, we had to fight a literal army of zombies. So
that's fine. That's good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Game of Thrones, some Brothers Grimm. My brother, he loves to death mythology. So he's had Greek mythology sprinkled in there. He's had Norse mythology. He would like our
stuff too.
Ooh.
All of this is getting spread. We are.
I'm just kidding. I'm in business mode too, so I'm like, but no, that's so cool. So he uses the mythology in his game.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
We what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago with the provider, Love?
It was about, I think it was like 4 weeks ago.
About 4 weeks ago, we met a hag, which was literal. Well, I considered it literally Baba Yaga from Russian mythology, like creepy house in the woods, creepy old lady who makes deals with people, like That's all I could think of when we were stuck in there.
I need you to please
Uh-huh.
look up and show your brother our Baba Yaga design, please.
I will.
Because we have a gorgeous Baba Yaga design. I'm obsessed with it. It's very autumn. It's in the forest. It's got her hut on the chicken legs back there.
Yep.
That is so cool. She is so I love Baba Yaga. Like,
And
she's crazy. She's great.
All sweating bullets that entire episode. Like, what is
bet.
going to
She's
happen?
powerful.
We are all doomed.
So what happened? I mean, I'm interested. I want to know what happened.
Are you sure you want to spoil it?
Well, I'm a little bit behind on posting episodes on Spotify, so I can give her this.
Fair enough.
I'll send her all of the links to all of the episodes.
Good, please.
For the
I'm
future.
Very interested. Oh my gosh, I'm so interested. I want to watch them all.
So we went to the hut to find a way to find her sister, because he'd just been kidnapped by a tiger demon called a Rakshasa, which again, more mythology.
That's awesome.
So we went to her because she is originally the one that summoned the Rakshasa, because her sister made a deal that she wants to be the ultimate hunter, because she is an amazing huntress and has almost killed multiple party members and everyone in her path.
Not on purpose.
For the best RPing newbie ranger in the world. She's the most destructive force I have ever seen, and I love it.
It's for the good of the empire.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly my point.
Are you okay? Absolutely. But are we quoting? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So she is this
for the whole time.
indestructible just ranger of doom. So her sister felt very, inadequate. That's the right word. So she's like, I'm going to become the best hunter in the world. So she was given the ultimate prey, aka ultimate predator, that started hunting her back, which was the Rakshasa that kidnapped her. So we're like, okay, we need to go find where this all started and see what we can do to save her. And for varying party members, because everyone got their chance to interact. She was given visions of the Nine Hills that we had to travel to. And she's still dealing with that as of literally last week. My character was given a flash of his backstory, because there's this dark cult that has to be in every D&D campaign, and my character's village was attacked and basically petrified by said cult. Ooh. So he's looking for answers or vengeance, or whichever one comes first. So he was like, okay, how do I save my village? And he was basically told, you might not get all the answers you want, but here you go. And was given like flashes of information. Our poor warlock, he lost literally everything because he took a card from her tarot deck that literally I don't know if turned to dust or teleported is the right word, but all of his things teleport. All of his things, clothing, items, the literal cloak that was his warlock patron, all vanished before our very eyes, including the party's bag of holding.
Oh no!
Oh no, indeed. And we're just going, no.
Everything. Did you have your money in the bag of holding, or was that disseminated between you guys?
So everyone has some money,
some of it. Yeah, good.
But we had
good, because we did not do that.
We
lost
had
all our money because we had one person holding
party.
It.
Oh
no! We had the collective party gold. We had a couple thousand in that bag. That
sucks.
So then he was left literally powerless,
and clothesless
for about 2 episodes. So we're like,
oh my god,
what do we do now? And the running gag is this: it was his second patron, because he made a deal with one at the beginning of the campaign, found the second one and said, I'm now gonna follow you. So now he had to find a third patron to get warlock powers back. So the running joke is, how many times can you sell your soul?
Guess we're finding out, huh?
Yep. And then basically after all of this chaos, oh my goodness, I almost forgot the most important part. Oh my goodness. So this is where the story gets good and gets heart-wrenching. We have had a animated skeleton following us for a literal year. We found him last Halloween, and his name was Metagast. He was a knight, and it was a skeleton knight, walked around in
armor and everything.
Had no memory of who he was before he became a skeleton. And so we've been trying to solve the puzzle that was Metagast. So when he took a card from the deck, we found out that Metagast is a famous hero of legend who is an elf prince. And now...
Okay.
Prince Hector.
Yes, his name is Prince Hector. And so now we have to figure out what happened between point A and point B and basically reclaim everything that Hector has forgotten for the past 600 years.
Whoa.
And oh my goodness, when I tell you, it tugged on our heartstrings because we found this secret backstory of our friend that we've been carrying around for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's dealing with, because we literally last week healed him. And now he is back to being full Prince Hector.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're going, well, what now? Because he's still missing blocks of his memory. So now it's us venturing to find what basically the 7 Horcruxes of Prince Hector and where the little bits of him have been scattered to the 4 winds.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
It was mind-blowing. And we're like, what is going on?
It sounds great.
It was absolutely wonderful.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I just yawned like 3 times.
Oh no,
not because I'm not interested.
You're fine.
No, you're
completely understandable.
I've been yawning too. Unfortunately, I get up for work early, so it's just
I'm just yawning. That sounds amazing. Seriously,
absolutely.
That sounds really cool. And honestly, like just hearing you talk about it, y'all have got to check out OBP, Off the Beaten Path. It is insane. Yeah. I'm gonna try to I tried finding the original, like the musical on the a performance of it on the YouTube or whatever on the YouTube channel, but I couldn't. So I'm gonna try to contact Tori, who wrote the musical, and see if I can send you guys a copy of it that I have. So
please do. We would love that. We will share it with all of our D&D fans.
It is amazing, like it's genuinely, and I get to play one of those characters. So they do these performances live, like I think once a month or so, every 6 weeks. It depends. It's not on a set schedule because it really depends on what everybody's got going on. Because we've all got other stuff happening. It's on Zoom. We're all over the world. Right. Like last night, our performance we had like half the cast was in the UK. So it's really cool. And but yeah, we'll be doing. I'll be in the performance on December 6th, I think, as Roswin, the rogue elf.
Ooh.
So I will not be playing the character Morgaine because she's not in the Off the Beaten Path. She's in the SOAs, Songs of Our Lyris, which are like your backstory. And they take place a long time before he. So, but yeah, I'm going to be in the performance. I have Sunday, October 5th is Sunday, December 5th is when that's supposed to be, I think. But yeah, I absolutely want you to see the other performance of it though, because I'm going to send it to you. They are, the cast is fantastic. They're Roswin, they're Eris. Eris is a very Celtic dwarf, and she's a barbarian, and she's freaking amazing, and she has this axe named Moonblood, and she has the most heart-wrenching backstory. And then we've got I think she's a barbarian. Anyway, but we do have it because we have another barbarian, so I don't know. Colgar, he is his backstory will absolutely.
goodness.
He always makes you cry, Tori, who wrote these like he always finds a way to make you cry. And I'm just like, damn.
My brother Tim has found ways to just because we all wrote our own separate backstories. She had a little bit of assistance because it was her first time playing, but like I did too. A little bit of my idea. Our barbarian came up with an idea. Our warlock came up with it, and he has literally like put little pieces of each person's backstory through the campaign.
Oh.
And like the one of the most heart-wrenching moments came from our barbarian. So he is unironically for this interview, he is infected with lycanthropy. He is a werewolf.
Very nice.
And so a couple weeks ago,
that feels appropriate for a barbarian,
right? A couple weeks ago, he I don't know if the word discovered or had a run-in with the literal moon goddess on one of our treks out in the wilderness. He followed her
was
off.
it Hecate?
I cannot remember. My notes are not up, but it's written somewhere.
Sure. Moon goddess.
So he goes, and because of his backstory is he's from a clan of barbarians who hunt werewolves. So when he was infected and when his sister was infected, his dad banished them from the tribe. And we're like, oh, that's terrible. Well, then he finds this moon goddess, and she tells him that since the day he left, his father has been praying for assistance for him. And we're just like, he still cares. Oh my God. It was heartbreaking. We're like, because another crazy twist that my brother decided to throw at us. We went through a time warp.
Yep. Happy Halloween.
Whoa.
We got thrown into an alternate dimension. And when we left the alternate dimension, 4 years had passed.
Oh my God.
So it hit us about a week later. He had been praying for 5 years.
Oh my God.
Right? And we're just like, oh, what? Oh my God. Like everything.
So that begs the question, did he banish them so that he could keep them safe from the rest of the clan that wouldn't be able to accept them?
We don't know. We don't know. Oh. He's still looking for his sister who vanished before the campaign
so they're
started.
Not even together.
No. You know, my character's still looking for answers. Our cleric, he went on a vision quest because we had
of course.
He literally he had to go because he's in the military with me. He had to go on a detachment for like 3 months. So we need to find a way for him to not be here and for it to make sense. So our DM sent him on a vision quest. He got a sign from his goddess and he went off on his own, and now he's back. And now we're dealing with everything that he saw while he was gone. Wow. So it is just this beautiful, just interwoven story that he has put together.
That sounds amazing.
It's
kudos to your
wonderful.
Brother.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'll let him know you said that. I'm sure that would
be
big props.
Oh, and like seriously, I just, oh my gosh, I think that's really cool. And I love the lycanthrope edition, of course.
But my goodness, we've been on quite the adventure for the past year. And what's scary is we're not even close to being done.
Wait to get all your things. Right. Oh my God, I swear to God, but it's you understand why it lasts so long, but like when you think about it, it's like, holy crap, how many weeks have we been in this town now? Like literal weeks, but like, because it's all condensed. It's just crazy.
Oh yeah, we've had about 3 weeks worth of a session of us dealing with this attack on the city that we've been basically been our home base. And so it's been 3 weeks for us players, but it's literally only been a couple hours for the characters.
Yes.
And we're like, oh my gosh, we have to unpack all because we escaped the city as it's literally getting captured. And so we're like sitting on this boat going, what in the world just happened? Like, this all happened in a matter of hours, and we have to unpack this.
Like fear, like what in the world?
Goodness.
I love it though. Oh man.
Absolutely nuts. And now sitting here thinking about it, I'm scared to death because we're coming up on another Halloween episode. And last time we literally got thrown into The Shining.
Yep.
Like the hotel.
It was beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I love
the
that.
hotel with the blood flooding the lobby and the maze. And so I'm scared to death what's going to happen this year.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to watch.
But,
I cannot wait.
But with that, I'll wrap this up. We greatly appreciate you coming on here. It's been an absolute blast talking to you.
Oh, it's been so much fun talking to you. I know that you weren't planning on talking about D&D, but I'm glad we did. This was
absolutely. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Yes. And oh my, just so before we sign off, is there anything else you would like to
please
to add? Anything
you want to put out to the public? All of the links are going to get included in the description for this video. But anything you'd anything more you'd like to share with the fans before I sign us out?
Well, I mean, you're going to share the links. So just check out our Etsy, if you will, and give it a good perusal. There's lots of good things there. Even if you're not a witch or a goth, like I said, there's something for everyone. There's imagery for everyone. There are phone cases if you don't want to break the bank, or if you like our tarot cards and don't want to buy the deck, there's a sticker pack. We really try to make these designs accessible for whomever wants to buy them. You don't have to buy, a big tapestry or an expensive hoodie. You can enjoy the art in other ways as well. And follow me on TikTok if you're interested in me as a person. I know that's very different from me as a business person. But yeah, please do, and check out my link tree if you want to look into more information about Drakora, the band, and the Off the Beaten Path musical. And again, find me December 5th on Off the Beaten Path as Roswin the Rogue Elf.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys for listening. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Excuse me.
Yep.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, tap the little bell on your YouTube app so you never miss an upload. And always get the merch at prowrestlingtees.com/LostBoyKirby. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you again soon.